I just got started the second skills for the captured King Tower.
Nice. Congrats.
I still ain't finished that damn last mission for the Excalibur. I like one more first class for the Russian and Chinese tanks.
Nice. This means you have to have one good game. That's all.
Yeah, I come so freaking close. It's not even funny.
Right.
I was getting second classes left and right, and I just can't seem to get that one more fucking hit that I need.
Right. I don't know what to tell you. Be selfish and stay back. Let them come to you. You know what I mean? Play clean up at the end of the game.
No, I was trying to get it in my Artie.
Oh, okay. Artie's a little tougher.
Not really. You just gotta get lucky and hit him. But that's the problem. Artie's been nerfed so damn bad so many times.
Play in your 50-53. Do it in your 50. When I need a first...
idea how many times Arties have been nerfed in 7 years?
A shitload, because they were doing it when I was back, and that pissed me off because I was a big Artie player for a long time, and now I just occasionally play just because I'm being overly aggressive in order for me to stop losing. You know what I mean? If I just played nothing, I could easily, buff my stats real easy just playing nothing but Artie. I know I could, I'll have my shitty battles where I only get like 2, 3, 4, 500 damage, right? But 90% of the time I'll be 1800 plus 2k plus. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'll play the 50-53 and shit like that, and other Artie that I'm grinding, and
No whisper target found.
I've kept count. I actually have. In 7 years, they have nerfed Arties 9 times.
oh, so it's more like 35 times then, or 25 times.
No, 9 times.
No, but I'm saying
It is 9 times.
No, but I'm saying then add my time in 25 times at a minimum. It's just because, yeah, but you know what I'm getting at. It's just like, it's bullshit. Why? It's like the Arties are the most nerfed thing in the game, and it's like, why? Arties are the good balancer for the game. You know what I mean? Against the good players, but people keep bitching. Oh, Artie's OP. Oh, Artie's OP. It's like an Artie can't run out into the open and fight the battles. You get a shitty map, you're not going to do as well. Obviously, the better players, Arties, will find that one spot, but there's only like 2 or 3 little spots that are good on a map, on a shitty map that you can fire from. So that's where the scouts will go focus. You know what I mean?
Right. It's not like an Artie can go out and fucking play like a light or a medium tank. Because they do that, they get one shot off, miss, and they're dead.
Right, exactly.
I mean, what good is that? They're like, oh man, Arties were never used. Bullshit.
Arties were used in Clan Wars all the time. And that's honestly, that's part of our problem, is I think we truly need one Artie every Clan Wars right now. You need that separator. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the big argument has always been that Arties were never used in World War II, and
that's bullshit.
Well, Arties were brought into the game for authenticity in World War II, and the big argument is, well, they were never used in World War II. Bullshit. If you watch the movie Patton, it was the most authentic movie for World War II there ever was, because Arties were used in World War II. In fact, Patton used more than 24 Arties.
Well, Arties could be...
in the Battle of Belle Alabama.
Yeah, well, Arties can be pointed down. They don't have to point up. And those Artie rounds are freaking... You know what I mean? Those Artie rounds will shred a fucking tank like nothing. You know what I mean? You look at the Germans with their freaking Arties. You know what I mean? Their guns. They were using Arties to destroy American tanks because they had high friggin' whatchamacallit.
Did you know that the first? Let me look it up real quick. It's in the game actually. The TD, the PZ Jag 1. Did you know that that TD is actually smaller than the average human?
No.
Yes, it is. And the Bison is actually smaller than the average human. They were both carried into battle on the back of a truck. And they were unloaded by the crew and walked into battle. There was a film, documentary, where they were walked into place and used by the crew on the ground and fired at enemy emplacements.
Right.
It's the most funny looking thing I've ever seen. The PZ Jag 1 is no taller than 2 feet off the ground.
But it had a high-powered cavalry gun.
Not really. It's like probably about as powerful as 2 12-gauge shotguns put together. That'd be about my estimate. I mean, yeah, it's powerful, but I mean, if you think about it, it's really nothing. Compared to an M4, it's nothing. You know, most of the tanks used by the mid-World War II, it just bounced off of like nothing.
Right.
But when I saw that documentary, I recognized the tank destroyer being used, and I'm like, that's a tank destroyer. Oh, that's an arty. They were used. Their argument is fallible.
No, it's because
It's
because
on tracks, but they were driven.
Yeah.
They weren't driven. They were carried because they were so small.
Yeah. Well, also, people think, you know what, it's the bigger clans that think, and the better players that think Artie don't belong here, because they're the ones that get nuked by Artie because they're overly aggressive, and then they die and they bitch and complain. That's the problem with the game. Too many people have bitched and complained about the Arties. Oh, they need to be nerfed. Artie shouldn't be used in this format. It's like, bullshit, it's a fucking tank game based on World War II. And there were motherfucking Arties in there. Come on now.
Take for example the SU-14-1.
Right.
That big son of a bitch. Did you know it only had tracks on it until it got to a railroad?
No.
Did you not know that?
No, I probably saw it somewhere because I love history and about World War II, Vietnam, all that stuff. It's not something I remember.
I mean, just look at it. Look at its design. It's designed to be fired from a railroad. Just its design alone should show you that. It's not designed to be crawling into a position in trees and shit. It's designed to be driven to a railroad station, tracks removed, and to ride on a railroad. It's too big and cumbersome to run in a column with other tanks to a destination. It's just a fact of life. It just is. And when I researched it in its own factuality, I found out I was right. It was used with tracks to a railroad, and the tracks were moved on the train tracks. And it was attached to a an engine to be taken to its destination, and then tracks put back on it to be taken off the tracks and removed near the tracks.
Right.
Those things never went far from a railroad, but they were used against enemy tanks, not buildings, not men. They were used against enemy tanks. they had to use something because the Germans' tanks were so powerful they had a trouble.
Oh, I know. That's why we made so many friggin' what was it? We made what 12,000 what the hell you want to call them? Fireflies, or you know, that type of a tank. Not that specific mod, but you know what I mean. Even us Americans, we started putting the bigger artillery pieces, designing them the tanks around the artillery pieces. You know what I mean? You know, because they eventually came out with the Sherman with the big gun on it that could actually take out a Tiger. You know what I'm saying? The mod part of it. But we created 15,000 tanks. The Germans only created, what, 4,400 at most? You know what I mean?
Well, the Germans had a lot of them.
No, but I'm saying, but they had a lot of the PZ4s. You know what I mean? The smaller tanks that were like, you know what I mean, older tanks. They had more of those. They had 5,000 or 6,000 of those other tanks, but our Shermans could take care of those tanks. It was the Tigers I'm talking about, like the Tiger 1, Tiger 2. They only made about 4,400 of them, if I remember correctly. At most 6,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Tiger 2, they only had about 1,200. The Tiger 1, they had about 4,500, and the main one we had to go against was the Panther. They had a shitload of those.
Yep, and the Panther had the good gun on it that could hit you. What is it? It was the high velocity rounds that would just nuke our tanks. That's what I was getting at. The arty pieces had high velocity rounds that could pen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Panther's the one that they coined the phrase "spear the 88."
Yep.
When you hear that 88 round coming at you, you knew it was 88.
You make that, you know, that humming sound.
Oh yeah.
So let's see. I'm on my.
Especially when it took somebody's head off. 'Cause you knew when that thing hit somebody, it was going to take somebody's body parts off. I mean, it hit, and that body part was gone. You couldn't find it. But now, the advantage the Russians had was they started production of T-34s and the KV-1Ss way before the war started.
Right.
And they had a massive amount of tanks. They just didn't have drivers. So they started recruiting crews for those tanks as soon as the war hit. And once they got them into them, they started to train them as fast as they could. And once they were able to start push back, they just started ramming them. I mean, they were doing drills in massive quantities and just ramming German tanks like crazy, because that's all they could do. They couldn't pen them worth of shit, so they were just.
They honestly became to the point, if I remember correctly, they was just trying to track those vehicles, because the Germans were so far ahead of their support group that if they could disable the tracks and the tank crews ran out of tracks, the tank crews would end up broke. Believe it or not, the Germans did more damage to their own tanks than we ever did. You know what I mean? They'd blow them up inside so we couldn't use them. You know what I mean?
Oh hell yeah!
So
big time. The Germans were bad about leading their tanks way ahead of their support.
Well, because it was the Blitzkrieg. Oh, we know these guys can't pen us, but when they ran out of rounds, now they just became friggin' targets. You know what I mean? Target practice.
Oh hell yeah! We're out of rounds, but we got this fucking massive tank that they can't destroy, so we're just going to use it as a fucking ramming thing.
Yep.
It's a fucking runaway wall.
Yeah, but half the time, most of the time, most of the abandoned tanks were due to fuel and mechanical breakdown, because they were so complex that the mechanics couldn't keep up with the demands of the vehicle. Even though they were trained on how to service it, they didn't have the parts they needed. You know what I'm saying? And they were
came back for them eventually.
Oh yeah. Well, eventually they would go back. The tanks that didn't get blown out, they would go cannibalize. You know, that may be missing a track or something happened. They would cannibalize the rest of the engine for parts and whatever they could rip off the vehicle. That's what we did. I know a totally different thing, but that's what we did in Iraq when we were moving up. We were pushing so quick and so hard. Vehicles that would break down got left, and then all you would see is these frames to these Humvees and 5 tons and shit. They like literally were put up on blocks, and in some cases they were just dropped in the sand. You know what I mean? Nothing but frames.
Well, we developed that strategy from the Germans.
Oh yeah.
We've been doing that since.
Yeah, you cannibalize because if you're moving that quick, you don't have time. It's like you take the guys off the vehicles, you take the ammunition, whatever it's carrying, you combine it into the rest of the, whatever it is, the column you're pushing with, or, you know what I mean? And
oh, I understand completely. We've done it with all of our Air Corps and all of our navies. Yeah, it didn't matter what branch of service, we've done it with all of them. Even in the Army, we've done it.
Right.
I mean, hell, and when I was in the Army, we were using scraps left over from previous service members that shit. My gear was freaking puked in.
Oh yeah. You're sure a Kevlar helmet and flak jacket or whatever. Those were used so many different times from different people. It's like, honestly, they probably should be gotten rid of because they were probably so unsanitary. You know what I mean?
Oh hell yeah, man! My rain gear had to have been puked in. It was fucking disgusting. When I've been folded all that shit, it just fucking stunk the whole hill. About knocked me off my damn feet. It stunk so damn bad.
That sounds like someone that just didn't give a fuck, was getting out and
hell, the sand that was built up in it wasn't fun.
well, technically they're supposed to clean that gear before they turn it in. It's called.
Oh, they did.
It's called someone was in a rush and they didn't clean it.
Not to mention the headpiece that they use for the gas chamber.
Yep.
So damn loose, fucked up. All mine did was leak. By the time I got to the front of the line and tried to give her my social security number so I could get through it, finish sucking up fucking CS gas, the damn drill instructor had to throw me out of the fucking chamber. I stopped breathing. They told us where we went in, and we tell you to, you pull your mask off. You take a few gulps, try to hold your breath. You're going to breathe that shit in, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to give us whatever we tell you to give us. And then you're going to put your mask back on and run out, blah, blah, blah. And by the time I got up to him, he goes, give me your social security number. I got 595, and I stopped breathing. And he had to grab me by my shirt and throw me out the fucking building. The same drill instructor that saved my life when I finally got hurt for the last time, told me to walk or starve. Sitting there unable to fucking walk, knees separating with every fucking step, and he tells me to walk or starve. Son of a bitch. Fucking broken back, knees separating with every damn step, and he tells me to walk or starve after saving my life. What a chump.
Back in the day. When were you in? Though?
2002.
Oh, okay. So they still had some of the old drill instructors. That's the problem.
He was an alright guy.
Jesus, can I fucking get a shot where I fucking don't lag for a split second to hit someone? Goddamn fucking Windows key, man. I hate that shit. Like, I'm not physically hitting the fucking Windows key and...
I've gotten 2 new commanders from the races already.
I don't even waste my time with the races. I'm so far behind.
I didn't know you could get commanders until yesterday. You can get 3 total.
And I'm shooting nothing but fucking gold right now because I can't trust this fucking bullshit. Like, I'm not even hitting keys, it's like I'm holding down the Alt key and naturally the Windows key comes up, right? And these guys are gonna be like, all this guy's doing is flinging gold. It's like, who gives a fuck? Part of the game.
I'm trying to only do it just for the gold every day.
Yeah, but how many battles? See, I would have to literally run 24, 48 hours straight. You know what I mean? Just to get enough battles to make it worth it.
Well, I've already achieved all the prizes.
Oh, really? Nice.
You only have to get 100 points to get the gold. Once you get all the prizes, that's all you got to do, 100 points.
Yeah, it's funny how I switched to gold, and you know what? Now I'm up at 2K damage just about. Fucking, they gotta nerf the Pegatos. They're over OP fucking for this right now. Way too overpowered for this fucking game. Every round that's regular AP goes through every tank like it's nothing. Yeah, and then all these other fucking teammates are like, oh, they must be blind, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you gotta knock the guy off cap to continue the battle. You know? It's like, let's see your stats, you fucking orange and red players. I shouldn't let this game get to me, but stupid fucking people, man. Some people's dumb kids. And I don't care, I'm streaming right now and I really don't give a fuck. Cost me $26,000 just for my T26E5 because I switched to gold. But you know what? Let's see my WN8. Really? It only has me a... Oh, that's because it still has fucking battles in from yesterday. I just did a WN8 of 2955 and my friggin' E5.
I just got up under that guy, put him up on his belly up in here,
Nice.
pushed him all the way to the back wall.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Be right back. Got a phone call. What the fuck, man? I just got fucking ammo racked fucking because my game lagged for a second, and a Progredo and fucking like 3 TDs hit me all at once. Yep, I'm done for today. No point to play anymore after that. Awesome. Gotta love it.